So, since our first son was born earlier this year and a big part of our friends and family still live in Germany, we are hosting a lot of visitors this summer. And since we want to enjoy the Swedish summer, we need somewhere to sit outside and host a few people. But here's the problem. We only have this beer garden furniture, which is fine if you're just having a few drinks, but it's way too narrow for a lot of people to eat on. So we need a new one. And here's the plan. We're going to remove the old furniture and replace it. But since you clicked on this video, you already know that I'm not gonna just buy a new table. That would be too expensive anyways. I'm going to build one. So, step one naturally is looking through and gathering materials and stripping it from nails, cables and whatever is still on there. After gathering everything, it's time for coffee and making the design. Now that I know what I have, I can lay out everything and start building. I'm going to start the building process by building the table legs, which I want to cut at an angle, to make the design a little bit more attractive. I'm cutting them at 15 degrees because that's where the saw naturally locks into place and it feels like a good angle, so why not? Between the legs, I'm going to attach a support beam in a T-shape. I suppose the T-shape brings more stability, but I'm not certain, I just saw it somewhere. The tabletop is pretty straightforward. I just have to make sure everything is symmetrical since I'm working with the leftover materials and the planks I'm going to use have different width. For a proper finish, I'm going to cut the ends again. The middle beam of the tabletop is made of 2 beams, not ideal, but I gotta work with what I have. This makes it unstable and sags through in the middle. Therefore, I'm going to screw some support on it. Now the table is decently sturdy in every direction except lengthwise. For that, I'm going to need some diagonal support beams. To finish everything up, I wanted to give the table one final cut all around. But it just so happened that I filmed this video on one of the hottest days of the year, which meant that the battery of my circular saw kept overheating, forcing me to take breaks. During one of those breaks, I wanted to fix a shelf in the barn that had come down this morning. But clumsy as I am, I walked with full force into a sheet of metal, cutting my foot wide open, and all of that even though I was wearing my security working shoes. That meant that even though I was so close to finishing the table, I was forced to take a few days off to rest my foot. On one of those days, we also received a huge delivery of 15 cubic meters of firewood that wanted to be stacked and sorted, at least some of it right away, so we got our parking space back, which meant yet another delay in this build. With the hollyhocks now in full bloom, it was finally time to finish this project. Some of those beams are unevenly thick, which means while I would normally use a normal sander to finish up the tabletop, I need something more powerful this time. After hand planing the edges, it was time for a final coat of linseed oil to finish everything up. While this project took much longer than anticipated, it will all be worth it in the end, when we get to spend quality time with our loved ones on this table. Have big feasts and fill the Swedish summer air with the sounds of lively chatter and laughter. Thank you all for watching, and please like and subscribe.